When they weren't swashbuckling their way across the oceans in search of new territories to conquer, the Vikings had plenty of things to keep them occupied. It may come as a surprise to hear that, like us, one of the ways they did this was by sitting down and playing board games. Sounds pretty odd, right? But they were like us, so obviously they had to do something to keep them busy and entertained, and today's video is all about Vikings' history of games and entertainment, what sort of games they played, and what activities they did to keep themselves entertained. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. As we've already mentioned in our previous videos, the Vikings didn't bother to record their traditions in writing. It was passed down by word of mouth from generation to generation, including stories, customs, and culture. Often, tributes and trade records were recorded in runic writing. As a result, everything we know about the Vikings comes from either long after the fact sagas or archaeological discoveries. With the help of these sources, we know for certain that the Vikings enjoyed a good board game. If you've ever heard of the Lindisfarne Raid, you'll recall that it was the beginning of the Viking Age. While excavating the island in search of the original wooden monastery's exact location, researchers found Viking artifacts, money, and a particularly unusual game piece, a coin-sized piece which is decorated with a ring of white glass droplets to resemble a crown made of swirling blue and white glass. It was found in a trench dating back to the 8th or 9th century. We don't know if it was dropped by a Viking raider or used by the island's residents to play the raiders' game after they had fled. Although the piece is of such high quality, we do not know if it was owned by a wealthy person or not. Norse and Celtic people play Tafl games, which literally translates to table game, as a strategic game on a tabletop. Tafl, tablet, tallboard, brandub, ardry, and alia evangeli are only a few examples of the many Tafl variants. Even though the boards and rules varied significantly from one game to the next, the basic idea remained the same throughout. In Scandinavia, Tafl was the most popular variation of the game during the Viking Age, and it's possible that the piece unearthed on Lindisfarne was used in one of these games. It is referenced in various sagas, including Orkneyinga, Friofs, and Hervarar, where Tafl means fist. As a result, it's safe to assume that it was well known and played across the Viking Empire. The game would have been played on a board of 11 or 13 squares, depending on the rules. Both sides have different numbers of pieces to work with. Defending the king and advancing it to a corner on the board were the primary objectives on one side of the game board. To take the king, the opposite side just had to protect the corners. During the Middle Ages, a game from the Orient named chess likely replaced Tafl as the most popular board game. With that said, let's move on to the Vikings' next source of entertainment: weightlifting. Weightlifting was a common sport among the Vikings. The game's emphasis on physical capability and power went beyond just entertainment value. Large stones were raised by the participants as part of the game. The winner was deemed to be the one who could raise the heaviest stone. Drinking games. It was not uncommon for Vikings to consume large quantities of alcohol during feasts and other social gatherings. Throughout these drinking binges, a variety of games were performed to further enhance the experience. Drinking beer or mead and then reciting poetry was very popular. People would choose partners and then begin to drink. After each drink, each pair was asked to create a verse of a poem. The winner was deemed to be the one who was able to create the finest verses as the drinking proceeded and exhibited mental agility despite all the drinking. Skin throwing. The Vikings engaged in a skin tossing contest known as skinliker. Traditionally, this game was played in large indoor halls. A bear skin was made into a ball and used in the game. A single middleman attempted to intercept the bear skin as it was thrown by the other players. Viking games like this one are known for a lot of fighting, falling over one another, and yelling. Nataliker, the ball game. In the Norse sagas, this game is mentioned several times. Even while the sagas provide a look into how the game was played, the actual rules remain unknown. Two teams of athletes lined up in front of one another. Strength-wise, the participants were paired head-to-head. The ball would be caught by one player, who would then take off with it. The ball was also whacked around with a bat. The game was rough, with players openly tackling one another. Nataliker was designed to be one of the most challenging and violent activities. So with these games, you picture the Vikings having fun, and we're given a more complete picture of the ruthless warriors the monks described them as. The Vikings enjoyed playing as much as any other people of that period did in their spare time. We will end our video here. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts, please let us know in the comments section. Like and subscribe to the Vikings Code channel because we will continue providing you the authentic information regarding Vikings. Don't forget to hit the bell icon as well, and we will see you in the next one.